Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Wilfred, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to build this nice interactive tab using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, the cool part of this project is the indicator animation, right? You can see how it moves from one tab to the other, smoothly scrolling through the other ones. This is actually easy to do, and I'm going to be showing you that in this video. So stay tuned and relax, get your popcorns. All right. So let's begin with the whole structure of the of this application or web app, whatever it is. All right, so this is made of 4 parts. We have the header, which is this part here. It has an h1 tag and then a p tag, basic stuff, right? And then we have the tabs container. Now the tabs container contains each of these tab items here. They're actually divs. You can use any other HTML elements you prefer. I just went with div. Maybe I didn't think about it much. Anyways, so I added the data tab here, which is going to serve us as an indicator or a pointer to which item we are currently clicking on. So I will explain more about data items or data attributes when we begin to write our JavaScript code. So that's it for the tabs container. It contains all the tab elements, and then we added a display flex on each one of them. Yeah, so this is the tab container. The height is just 50 pixels, basic stuff, right? Then we have the tab indicator container. Now the tab indicator container has the indicator, which is this yellow line here. So this was just an illusion that the indicator is actually below the tab item, which is this tab here. In reality, it is actually in a different container, which is this tab indicator container here. And then what I did is to move it upwards so that it lies on top of this container here, and then it shows at the bottom. So let me prove that to you. I will just add a border to the tab container. So I'll just say border, right? Let me add 1 pixel solid red, right? You can see the red color on that tab. And let's look at the tab indicator container. So tab indicator container, I'll just really move this basic. Okay, so instead of adding 2 pixels, let's make this one bigger so that we can see it. 3 pixel, and I'll make this maybe, let's just change it, and that will not show. Let's make it a green color. Yeah, so save. Now you can see the green color too is showing at the same position as the other one because it's bigger. That's why you can see the red. And let me make this 10. Now you can see the red is inside of the the green one. So that's how we manage to position the tab indicator below each tab. So it's basically a div within its own parent. So yeah, and then I'll just remove this quickly. The code for the CSS will be in the link below. I'll leave a link to a repo for this particular project, and you can have a look at everything later on. Also, by putting the second tab on top of the first, you need to make sure that it stays below it, right? It's not really on top. In order for you to move it to the bottom, you just have to add a z index on the tab container to elevate it above the other one. All right, otherwise you will not be able to click any of these tabs here. The other one will just be on top. Let me just demonstrate that quickly. If I remove this z index now and I try to click, you can see even the pointer is not even changing because it is not focusing on the tab. So remember to add that as well. That's basically it for the HTML. And then we have our tab body where these texts are displayed. So we'll look at how to dynamically add items into this contents div here. All right, so let's move on to the JavaScript code. All right, so let's start with the JavaScript. First of all, I'm going to clear everything here. We are going to start with a plain JavaScript file. I'm just going to leave the these query selectors here. We need to save time actually. So yeah, so we are targeting all the tabs on the document here, which is all these tabs here, and then we are getting the tab container, which we'll see in a minute why we did it. And yeah, so this is the tab indicator, and then the tab body where we insert the content of our the content of our tab. So now let's move back to the JavaScript. Now currently when we click on each of these tabs, nothing is happening, and if you come to the console here, let's just click, you can see nothing is happening. And also remember to, link your JavaScript file, which is very important. Yeah, so let's do some console log here to make sure that everything is actually working fine, because I just deleted them. Yeah, but just verify that by using console.log to know that your JavaScript file is properly linked to your HTML file. So the first thing to do is to add the event listener to all of these elements here. So one thing you might want to do is to add the event listener through a for each method. Let's say you want to do tabs dot for each, and then you target each tab and say tab dot query selector tab dot add event listener. Then you do a click and then target event Christ, and then let's just console.log. I'm trying to speed up so that I don't waste too much time. Console.log the current event that is being clicked on. All right, so when we click on this, you can see this is working fine. But the problem with adding event listener to multiple elements through a for each method is creating unnecessary space in memory. This might hinder your website, but for arrays of 4 to 5 elements, the difference is not noticeable. It's very negligible. But I think it will be a good practice if you stay away from adding event listener to it for each method like this. Instead, what you should do is to target the parent element and then add the event listener on top of that parent element. Then through event propagation, you can now capture the correct elements that you are clicking on. So this is what you do. You say tabs container, right, dot add event listener, right, and then we use the click event. Then we move on to let's pretty add the parentheses for me. So I'll say console.log right. So with this, we are able to add the event listener to all of the items, right? Any item within this tab container here will receive the click event, but then we are not adding it to each one of them through for each method, right? So what we'll do is we want to capture the actual elements that we are clicking on. So we'll create a constant called target tab like this, and then say so to do that, we use the e.target. Then we use the closest function, right? This function is really powerful in facilitating the event propagation from child to the parent element. So what we want to capture is the tab. So we'll put tab here, and then we just log that in the console. So console.log the target tab. The target tab. So when we click on this now, you can see the tabs that we clicked on are being logged properly. So we didn't have to add the for each and then do all of that. So the next thing to do is to get the value of this data attribute on each one of these tabs. And one thing to always remember is to add some safety measure, some exception measure on the elements being clicked on. So for instance, we can have plenty elements in this tab container here, and then click on that particular element that we are a different element other than the one that we want to click on, and then try to do some operation on it. This will just give us an error. So instead, what you should do is to say, if the item that you are clicking on is not the target tab, right, just return. So this will just save you from any mistakes. And then we continue with our operation. So I want to get the value of the data set. So I'll say data value. I don't know, I actually like using a snake case instead of camel case. Camel case is just bulky to me. All right, so data value, and then we'll say target tab. Oh god, target tab the data set. So to get the data value, you use the data set object, data set dot, then we use the tab because this is data dash tab. So we do data set dot tab, right? Oh god. All right, so Jesus. So let's log this and see what we have. You can see, let's do data value. And then when we click on this, you can see we have 1. The second one is 2, 3, 4. Same thing as this here. You can see it is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is good. Now, first thing we want to do is to move this active class, right? This active here, because this is active, that's why you see the yellow color on that. So we want to move the active to the current tab that is being clicked on. So one way to do that is to use the for loop through all the items and then add the appropriate class. So I'll do this by saying tabs, also all tabs dot for each tab, right, we want to take the tab. First of all, let's remove the active class. Tab dot class list, right, dot remove the active class. Now when we click, the active class will be removed from all the elements, right? Now the next thing to do is to target which one is being clicked on. So we'll say if the tab dot class, dot dataset dot tab is the same as the current position that we are on. The dataset value is equal to the data value. Let's just put data value. Then we just say the tab dot class list, right, dot add active. Yeah. So let's save this. When we click now, you can see the color moves from one data item to the other. Now we want to move this indicator to the appropriate tab. So to do that, first of all, let's reiterate a bit. The indicator actually has the same width as the current tab item, which is why you see it showing this way. So we'll move it by a certain amount. So we'll multiply it by a certain factor of its own width, right? So since these tab items have the same width, which is all 24% of the main container, we'll then multiply it by a certain amount, which will certainly be the value of the data attribute of this tab here. So, and then the reason why that will work is because this indicator has a position absolute. So let's do that now. I would so data active. So we'll do this access. So let's target the tab indicator, which is this one here. I'll just copy this and then come here and say data attribute styles, right, dot left. So we want to move it from the left forward or backwards. So the left will be let me quickly show you something. Let's say I move it by 25%, right? Currently it is at 0. That's why you see it at the end here. Where is it? Left is 0. So let me move it by 25%, but by clicking on any of this item here. So you can see it's moved from this side to this place. It will work again because we are not increasing this value here. So in order for us to increase this value, we need to do some operation, right? So I'll use a template string there and just do my calculations here. So I'll multiply the data value by the 24 and then add the percentage here, right? So now when we click on this, so it's moved more than it should. It went to the next one. So that's not something we want. We actually want to index this properly. So what I'll do here is to use the position here, position, and say data value -1, right? And then put the position here, position. All right, so when we click on this now, you can see it is moving to the appropriate tab, right? And then the reason why you see that animation happening is just because we added a transition here. Just take your time to go through the CSS file and watch how everything works. So yeah, that's basically all you need to do to get this nice tab functionality. Just add the style, some style to the left, and then just move things around. That's all. That is all you need to know. And then to show some items here is basically the same thing. I'll leave that for you to do, but then I'll not record this in this video. You'll see my solution in the GitHub repo. Let me just quickly explain how I'll do that. You can just create an object. I've actually done that here. So let me copy this. I'll copy this, right, and then paste it here. Now this is a long object, so I wouldn't want to keep it here. So I'll just create another JavaScript file here called obj, or let me just say data, right, .js, right, and put it here. Now we will just export this, and then come here and then just say what did you call it? Tab content. So just a tab content here. We imported it from there. Let's log this in the console and see if we are getting the actual value. Console.log. Yeah. So you can see we have an error. It said cannot use outside the module. Oh, okay. So we need to make our JavaScript file a module. So we'll say type here is module. right? Save. Okay, it is working now. We have a new error. It says cannot get 44 error. Why is that? We are importing this correctly. Oh, okay. So I think when you're using normal JavaScript, you have to add the .js. Aha, so the error is gone. Yes, we have our tabs here. So what you would do is just basically get an index of the tab item and then just set the content to that. Let me just do it. Const insert, let me just say insert tab and then say equal to a function. This will take the current tab. Let me just say the template. Let me just say template, right? Template, and then what I'll do is say first of all, let's say tabs. Oh, I don't want this tabs here. Why did I add this? Well, I'll say we want to get the tabs content. Okay, so tab body dot inner HTML should be equal to the template, right? So I'll say insert, I'll call the insert tab, right? Insert tab, and then pass it, you know, the current data that we want, right? So I'll say let me say, because I know there is a template here, template property on this object, I'll say, let me just do this. I'll say data, right? Okay, we say data, and then data dot template. So we can get the template here. So basically what I'll do now is to just take the data here. What did you call it? Tab content, right? Tab content. And then let's just use the first one. So when we save, you see, okay, that is not 0. This is O. To get the first one, we'll do O like this. Now you can see we have our first element inserted there. Yeah, so we'll have that. And then the next thing to do is to just use the position here to dynamically add, you know, the different ones so that this changes appropriately. All right, so let's do that. I will say